So good afternoon. We're going to speak about media education, disinformation, and citizenship, and the comparative analysis of the Greek, German, and Italian case studies. Thank you very much. So this is a project called Immune to Opinion Manipulation, a research project, an Erasmus project, which lasted from November 2020 to October 2023. There were three partners: Department of Social and Educational Policy, University of the Peloponnese in Greece, from Germany, the Eurosource Digital, and Mezirow from Italy. The target group of this project were the educators of formal and non-formal education, youth group leaders, social workers, and trainers in companies. The aim of the project was to cultivate critical thinking in young people regarding the management of fake news through the training of teachers and the creation of appropriate educational material on the subject of digital literacy. And so the output would be an educational material for preparing students and teachers and educators for critical thinking, and a platform where information and educational materials related to this topic could be found and could be used for educational use. An active platform where visitors could exchange ideas, thoughts, and good practices. What about the concept of fake news? Fake news are stories that are presented mainly as journalistic, but are deliberately fabricated to serve a purpose. They can also take the form of entire websites designed to look like credible news sites. So the problems of fake news and the role of educators. Fake news and coordinated disinformation campaigns can become an instrument of economic and geopolitical influence. They challenge human communication, they produce tension and misunderstanding and disbelief. And very often this is the problem. Young people are particularly vulnerable to propaganda, disinformation, misinformation, and fake news. And schools have a duty to provide young people with a critical and information skills. Educators must be prepared to help students identify fake news and use tools in order to become critical. So media literacy education and critical media education is very important. In all, what about the current trends in all countries involved in the project? The public debate about fake news and disinformation has gained traction in recent years. The problems and threats that arise from this continuously growing phenomenon have been realized and are being observed and researched. Commentators are rather unanimous in their assessment that targeted fake news and disinformation that are distributed through online channels are increasingly threatening the democratic society and need to be counteracted in a systematic way. What about the actual debate on fake news? In the recent years, the most common issue for fake news is COVID-19, such as fake medicine, and fake information regarding medical and healthcare facilities and lockdown rumors were and still are very often during COVID period. And other fake news concern migration and internal security policy, political issues and problems, socioeconomic issues as well. What about the actual initiatives to combat fake news and media literacy? European Commission's Media Literacy for All Preparatory Action 2020 underlines the role of media literacy in promoting technical, cognitive, social, civic, and creative capacities that allow citizens to access the media, to have a critical understanding of them, and to interact with them. So legislative regulation is important within German Network Informants Act, for example, and other research and multidisciplinary projects. And there are some campaigns on this issue and projects in the educational field, which are very important. There is no concrete idea about the place of media education and how to combat fake news in different educational systems, formal and non-formal education. We have conducted a survey And you can see some of the results in a glance. These are the results about educators. It was a survey online within April 2021 in order to explore educators' thoughts and experiences in relation to fake news and disinformation. You can see the numbers from educators from each country. And then we have seen and underlined their attitudes towards fake news. They named social media as the most common source of fake news, text and a combination of different forms. The coronavirus pandemic, self-test and vaccination, which was the most common topic. And they have spoken about fake news, the role of disinformation, propaganda, and manipulation, and the role of media literacy, that it should be part of their education, training, and critical media literacy for students. So the main conclusions about this research was that were that plenty of fake news on a daily basis appear mainly through social media in different forms. There is a combination of different sources to check their reliability. They were very skeptical how to teach and prepare, and they underlined the role of critical thinking, the role of implementing critical media literacy and create relative educational materials. And with the students, the same survey was also about the role of students' thoughts and experience in relation to fake news and disinformation, and their attitude towards fake news. We underlined that social media were the most common source for fake news and coronavirus. They were very skeptical about how to recognize it and different sources to check the reliability. So the main conclusions would be plenty of fake news on a daily basis. They spent a lot of time daily to social media. There is a dissemination of fake news between social networks. They feel little affected by fake news, and they accept that they have a lack of media literacy and of personalized preparation. And we have created some modules and sub-modules for teachers and students about media, fake news, and society. How does media shape society? And some ideas about media psychology. Its negative and positive effects. The role of media ethics, which is an area in applied ethics that deals with specific ethical principles and standards of mass communication and media. The role of values. We have underlined the role of media discourse and critical discourse analysis and media education, and we have created some exercises. You can see here the exercise number 1, which is fake or not, make your choice, in order to support students to better understand the field of fake news and its impact on the social and political life, and explain and analyze their experience. The second one was annotate your text, an exercise which aimed to support students to appreciate the responsibilities of media and the ethical dimensions of media creation, and create some techniques, use some different techniques in order to analyze media ethics and make some ethical decisions. And the exercise number 3 were to create their post, support students to appreciate the responsibilities of media and the ethical dimensions of media creation, analyze media ethics, and be familiar with the different language used for the same information according to the purpose each news item has to serve. So the key questions that we tried to answer were: what do you think the role of media literacy should be? Are educators prepared to use media literacy? What kind of tools and resources are needed? Do you know if there are any policies and disinformation campaigns? Would you suggest any? And what kind of skills students need to acquire in order to deal with issues like that? Thank you very much for your attention, and we hope that you are going to have some questions, and you can visit our website in Immune Project EU. Thank you.